Perfect. So I'm here with Gus Mackenzie. He's going to be fighting at the Contender Series coming up at Cage Conflict. It's going to be on the 29th of July. A fantastic show. And I really like the premise of the actual show. It's given a lot of fighters making their debuts to kind of fights, a bit of experience as well on a big show. So this is going to be your first amateur fight. I want to take the time to thank you for joining me today. How are you feeling? You're not too far out from the fight now.
9 days now. I'm buzzing. I can't wait to get going, to be honest. If the fight was tomorrow, I'd be ready for it. So I just can't wait, mate, to be honest.
And an amateur debut is a big deal, and especially coming out of FAI, you've so many killers and stuff coming out. You're going onto a show like Cage Conflict. What does it mean to you to make your debut on a home show like Cage Conflict with the atmosphere and to have your family and friends and fans come support you at it?
It's probably something a lot of people would actually dream about. A big show like Cage Conflict in Ireland, and as you say, your family and friends are, and the atmosphere and the crowd and the talent that's actually also on the card too. I'm just excited, mate. I just can't wait to get going.
And being this your first amateur fight, we spoke briefly just before this as well. You actually have no novice fight, so you're straight into the
No.
fire with this one. But obviously, that means Shando and Pat have seen something that they feel you don't need the novice to go straight into amateur. How does that make you feel to go straight into amateur and not have the novice fights?
It was, as you say, kind of straight into the deep end a bit, but um, they must, I feel good in a way that they're comfortable putting me straight in the amateur and not having no cage experience at all. No novice, no nothing. So they obviously feel that I'm ready, and I know myself that I am ready. So just it's all about getting going now.
Yeah, and to get to this point, to go into your amateur fight, you've obviously been training quite a while. Bring us back to the start. Bring us back to when you started MMA or combat sports in general to get to where you're here now. Like, why did you join? What made you join? And when did you join?
So actually, it was about 4 years ago. I was only about 14, 15. And my older brother, I don't know if you'd know it, but they ever get the shows, Wimp the Warrior.
Yes.
Like you train for so many weeks and have a fight. So my older brother, he actually done that a few years ago. And the whole time he was doing it, I was slagging him, what are you doing that sport for and all. And then when the fight actually happened and we went to the event, straight away I was like, I want to do that. I want to get involved in this. So I joined SBG Belfast. I joined there for a couple of years, and at the start I wasn't overly like fully training. I was coming and going, and then once I started actually to enjoy it, built myself up a wee bit, and then I was about 16, 17, and I was like, right, I want to start competing. But then at the end of last year, a few things just weren't going my way, and then kind of stopped training for a bit. And then at the start of this year, I was like, I want to get back into it, but if I'm going to get back into it, I want to go to the best place possible, and that's what brought me to FII.
It is a fantastic gym. I do a lot on the amateur scene, so I know a lot of fighters. I've seen the likes of Blaine McGill has moved over recently. Tiernan Loughlin has gone over a lot of pro fighters. Like you've got Reese there now, who's I think he's still jewels between next gen and there. What
Yeah,
was it? Was it the likes of the names of Paul Hughes, Joe McColgan, Reese McKee? You've got so many other pro fighters there: Paddy McCurry, Ryan Curtis, the boogeyman. There's too many to name. Was it the likes of those names that attracted you to there and just the pedigree of fighters that they have?
I think it was just the fact that, like, in my head, I was like, I want to go to the gym with the best coaches, the best fighters, the best training partners, the best facilities. And now, after being at FII for about 6 months or so, I've got everything. I've got all the tools. Do you know what I mean? But even the likes, just as you say, all them pro fighters and the high elite amateur fighters, there's there too. Just everything about the gym in general.
Yeah, no, it's fantastic. And one thing I found in my experience, because I went up there recently to talk with Pat and Paddy and about the CSNI, the new initiative for medicals and stuff in the north. And I was there on a Sunday. What really struck me was one, the amount of people there on a Sunday morning, and two, how hands-on Liam and Pat are from people who were just doing it as a hobby to novices to amateurs. See, they give everybody their time. It's not like they just spend
Yes.
obviously when pro fighters are coming up, they will divide their time to the pro fighters, but you get that hands on with Liam and Pat, don't you? At every
Yeah,
level.
you do. Yeah, it's mad like how much detail they'll actually go in for a certain person and how much time they'll spend and after class showing them maybe going over stuff, different techniques and Do you know what I mean? Just the wee small stuff that you appreciate.
It is. It like just the little details because they're technically. I'd say once they go home, I've seen on Pat's story. He goes home from the gym. He's watching fighting. I'd say they're breaking. I'd say 90% of their time is spent on obviously training and then getting fighters like yourself ready. And we're coming into this fight. Are you going in because it's your first amateur fight? Are you going in cutting much weight, or are you going in just kind of with not much to cut and just kind of show your skills rather than worrying about weight cut? Or are you
Yeah.
cutting?
No, I'm close enough to the weight now. I'd say a couple of kilos to go, and I'll do that next week, in the water weight cut. But other than that, I haven't had to cut too much, so I haven't. I'm feeling good, feeling energetic, feeling fresh. You know what I mean? I'm not feeling like I've burnt myself out the last lot of weeks. So no, I'm feeling good, to be honest.
And then obviously because it's your first fight, when you're coming up, like, do you study your opponent? Are you going to do you study your opponent once or just look at one or two things? Or because it's your first fight, do you want to just try and go on and implement your own style rather than worrying about what an opponent may or may not do?
So my opponent, he's actually it's his debut too. So I don't know nothing about him. He doesn't know nothing about me. We can't go on YouTube and watch each other's fights. So, but I think that's what's going to make it very interesting because we're both coming in not expecting, don't know what to expect from each other. You know, I don't know what he's like. He doesn't know what I'm like. So I think it'll make it a very good fight, very interesting and exciting.
Yeah, I think it's hard to game plan for something like that, but I think obviously Pat and Shando and yourself will probably look at maybe the gym he comes from and what kind of style they implement as well, because usually the gym will give away a kind, not give away, but
Yeah,
it'll direct you in what kind of style they might be. But then like that, every individual fighter is different, so it might be different.
exactly.
So it means that it could be like that. There's going to be a lot of not nervous tension, but a lot of tension. Who's going to go first? Who's going to go when? And how are
Yeah.
you feeling now that this is coming up? Like, how are you feeling? What's the nerves like? Is there a bit of nerves, excitement? Are your emotions ebbing and flowing like up and down at the minute? Or
I'm more excited than anything. I haven't really had much nerves yet, but I know as the days go on and I'm getting closer to the day of the fight, I will get nerves because it's natural. But then nerves is a good thing because it means you care. And but at the minute, I'm just more excited than anything.
yeah, and I like what you said there because a lot of people go, "Oh, as you get on, the nerves go," and I'm like, I think for everything that you do, if you don't have nerves, not that you don't care, but I think if you have nerves, it shows that you really care because obviously you're
Mhm.
going in and with the likes of the day of the fight and stuff like that is an event in itself because like there's going to be a lot of waiting around and it's just then you have the right team around you to show you how to manage that time because you'll have to go in, get your hands wrapped, stuff like that, and then
Yeah.
trying to manage the time is one of the most difficult things that amateur fighters say when they first start fighting. Have you obviously you'll be with that. Has there been any advice on that, or is that even something you've talked about, like trying to fill up the time between when you get there and getting into the cage?
It's nothing that I've actually really thought about, to be honest. I haven't actually really thought about that, but it's just I'm actually looking forward to the wee stuff like that, like the likes of getting your hands wrapped, warming up, hitting the pads, and then you're getting ready to walk out, and your walkout music plays. Like all the wee small details, it's just starting to slowly like build up, and I think it's just embrace it all. That's just all you can do. Like
Yeah, no, and like that, the atmosphere, the shows are absolutely fantastic at there. Then obviously you're not going to be looking past your opponent now, but after this fight, do you have any more plans for the year? Or are you going to see how this fight goes and then look around and see what shows are going to be around? Because there's quite a few shows, especially up north. I want to say there's 6 or 7.
yeah, no, take this one next week, see how it goes. But at the end of the day, I don't want to have a few fights and dip. I want to be in this for the long run. I'm going to be in it for the long run. Do you know what I mean? I'm still young. I don't want to look back in 20 years' time and be like, oh, I was 18 years of age, had a couple of fights, and that was it. I want to be in 20 years' time to be like, right, I've done this, this, and that, and I'm proud of this, and that, and still keep doing it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, because like that, sometimes I've seen fighters do at amateur level and they fight quite regularly. And I thought at the time, oh, that's a good thing. But then you seen by the end of it, there was a burnout because you're constantly in camp
Yeah,
that you're not improving. I think once you fight and just say you take 2 or 3 months just to go back train and enjoy it, I think that's where the skill level improves and you can work on
yeah.
things So I think you've got the right kind of approach to it. But how does your brother feel now? Obviously, because when he first went into the Winter Warrior, which I think is actually a fantastic program to help people change their lives, in my opinion.
Yeah.
When you were slagging him about doing that, how does he? What does he say to you now that it's flipped and you're actually in FAI and you're planning on competing?
He thinks it's brilliant, so he does. Because he doesn't even train MMA or nothing anymore. He keeps saying about getting back into it, and a couple of times he's done a bit of training with me, but I just don't think he overly excites him anymore. But no, I think he's more excited than me for next week. So he seems pretty pumped up, like that I'm competing, and especially on such a big show as well. So no, he's excited just as me, like.
And how does obviously when he done that, and he went in and he competed, what was the family's thoughts on it? What do like your immediate family think? Because obviously some people might be scared that you might get hurt or something like that, or is there support behind you?
Yeah, no, my mum, she was on her wreck that day. She couldn't cope, but I think now that she's already seen my brother going into it, she knows what she's expecting this time. So it won't be, the nerves won't be as high as they were last time. Like, but now other than that, everyone's just because they know how long I've been training. It's not like I've been training a couple of months and I'm thrown in the my amateur debut. I've trained for a good while, like so they all know I'm ready for it.
Yeah, like I said, Pat and Chanda wouldn't put you in there unless you were ready. And see, I think that with combat sports, a lot of families get a bit worried that you might get hurt, whatever. I think combat sports, along with other different sports as well, is a good way to kind of direct people. I wish I had went into it at that age, because do you find the likes of the motivation, structure, the discipline, has that bled into your personal life, that it kind of structures your life more and you're more, I want to say, how do you like that? Is kind of, you find you bring the discipline into other aspects of your life other
Yeah.
than fighting. Do you think it helps you on the other side of your life as opposed to just the fighting side?
100%. Like there's even times like when I've had maybe a few stuffs happen to me or had a few setbacks and I'm not training for a couple like 2 weeks and then when I actually get time to sit down, I'm like, I actually need to be training. Like training is what it keeps you ticking. It keeps you floating, and do you know what I mean? And anytime I've took a bit of a break from MMA, it's every time it goes back to I need to get back to training.
Yeah, that's what I find with people that just want to train, they want to train, because like that, there's so many ways that you could go astray. You could end up on the sesh every weekend. You could end up,
Exactly.
you could end up, and you see a lot of people like that. In the pubs, I could have been this, I could have been that, but it's guys like yourself that stay at and stay consistent to it. That you won't be saying that, because you will be doing it in years to come. And when you first went into the gym, in SPG Belfast, did you want to, like, after seeing your brother, did you want to compete? Like, was that, like, did you just know then, not that you wanted to do it, but you wanted to compete and become high level?
When I first started, I was 14, and there's other kids there, teenagers, a couple of years around, they're bigger on you. Maybe they're getting the better of you, and at the start, because you're used to it, you're like, do I want to keep doing this now, or do I want to go back today and getting beat up in a way? Not beat up, but like because they've been there longer, they know what to do, etc. And then as time went on and kept on showing up, and started to build myself up a wee bit. And then, as I said, when I turned about 16, 17, that's when I was like, right, I want to start competing.
And then talk to us about what kept you going, because like that, I'd say there's a huge turnaround in gyms of people who do go in, and like that, people go, oh, I go in, just throw a couple of jabs, do this, that, it'll be easy. But when you get there, in fact, it's so hard. But like MMA gyms are probably one of the most welcoming, in my opinion. Um, what were you expecting actually going into gym? Were you expecting it to be, what kind of atmosphere were you expecting, and what kind of atmosphere did you get like once you got in there?
I think when I went in, I was just expecting like just angry, ruthless people and just smashing the head of each other. But when I actually went in, I started in the teens classes, and it was just like nice and chill. Everyone was 100%. They were all sound, dead on. Like no one was like judging you or anything like that. You come in, and the first few sessions I done was like grappling and jiu-jitsu and stuff, and I never experienced anything like it before. And I think sometimes coming out of like wrestling and grappling, I was actually feeling more sore than what you would after like a sparring session. It was mad. Like people were picking you up and slamming you on. I just thought this was crazy, but I thought it was brilliant at the same time.
Yeah, because like that, people always say, "Oh, do jujitsu, it won't hurt," and I'm like, hold on. Most jujitsu lads I see kind of older have knee braces, their shoulders are in bits to that. Because like that, I think with jujitsu, you use muscles that you probably would have never used before, and like that, jujitsu is so technical. How did you, like you said, you found that brilliant? That's one of the puzzles that takes you a long time to kind of to progress at in skill level. How was it doing that? Because I'd say that's hard. Like I've done 1 or 2 jiu-jitsu classes, and like that I was getting nowhere because like they were showing me drills and like I was able to do it, but when it came to the actual role, like I was just getting smashed.
It
Like
just
how,
lit the window.
what's your mindset like that when you're not like when you're not getting it, you're not getting it, you're not getting it, but then it turns. What's that feel like?
It's good. Like, cause at the start when you're not getting it, sometimes it builds up in your head, and then you get frustrated, and then you just want to throw your toys out of the pram. Know what I mean? And then I think you just have to keep on trying and going for it, and then after, well, you put the effort in, it'll start to show. Like, but I remember at the start, you're coming up against all these people who have been doing jiu-jitsu for a while, and they're all wiry, and they know just all the wee sneaking stuff and all, and it does get you frustrated. But as time goes on, you learn to obviously deal with that, and then build your own arsenal.
Yeah, because yeah, like that, it's a game of inches, isn't it? You move one way and your arm could be taken, or your leg or your neck could be taken. But like that, and size doesn't really, not that it doesn't matter, but in jiu-jitsu, I've seen like smaller guys go against bigger guys, and just their technique, because it's so good. That's what I love about jiu-jitsu. The size difference doesn't make a huge difference when it comes to technique, in my opinion.
Well, yeah, I'd
Unless
say so.
the
Like,
bigger guy lays on you.
you just took the words out of my mouth. That's what I was about to say. If sometimes when a bigger guy lies on you and just sucks you in and just leaves his weight on you, there's not much you can do. Like, but it can be tough.
No, it is good. I'm looking forward to your fight coming up. I can't wait to see you fight in person. It's been a pleasure to talk to you today. I'm going to let you go. Obviously, you said you're just going to take this fight at a time, so you're not looking. You're after this fight, you'll decide, and you look forward to more things. So we'll definitely have you back on again. Is there anything you want to say before you go, or anyone you want to give a shout out before you go?
Um, just if anything, I'd give a shout out to obviously Pat and Shando and everyone at Fight Academy for all the training, all the hard work that's helped me get the here now and get me prepared for my debut next weekend. So I'm looking forward to it, and I'm also looking forward to all my teammates, because there's a lot of my teammates there making their debuts too, and then there's a few fighting for a title and all. So it'll be a good night, great night, exciting. So I'm looking forward to just get my own fight out of the way and then watch the rest of my teammates. So
Yeah, no, be good. One more question, actually, I got to touch on. What's it like when you've got others making your debut on the same show? What's the buzz like? What's the camaraderie like? Are you all together when you're all making your debut? It's like it's a milestone you're making together. What's that atmosphere like with those guys making their debut?
I think it's brilliant because we're all in the same boat. It's not like I'm the only one out of the gym making a debut and I'm having to make this walk for the first time. There's a good lot of people doing it as well. So we're all in the same boat. I think we're all feeling the same way. We're all excited. So it'll be a good night, and it'll be a night to remember as well.
Yeah, will be. Case conflicts are always a night to remember. What, we 9 days out? It's the 29th of July. It's going to be a fantastic show. I'll put links in on this interview for anyone who wants tickets or pay-per-views. I want to thank you very much for your time, and best of skill. I'll see you next weekend.
No worries, mate. Thank you very much.
Perfect.